Hey guys, so I just wanted to start off today with a disclaimer. I know I've said this in the past, but I just wanted to reiterate. The purpose of this channel is for me to investigate things or projects that I find interesting, that I think have potential, and then learn by doing and share them with you. By no means should anybody be buying or trading off my advice, and I do hope that everybody does their own research, and please trade at your own risk. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about today's coin. I chose to do PIVX. I chose this because I like the project, obviously, but also I haven't done a privacy coin yet, and somebody mentioned that to me, so I figured I'd bridge the gap. PIVX is a fork of Dash. It's sometimes referred to as Dash 2.0, but I want to be clear that it's not a direct clone of Dash. It runs on a newer Bitcoin base, and it has entirely different algorithms that set it apart from Dash. PIVX is a community-centric cryptocurrency, and they are focused on decentralization, privacy, and real-world use. It's an open-source cryptocurrency, and its main purpose is to be transactionary. But the specialty thing about it is that it's transactionary in a way that it can be completely private. It was designed to fix Bitcoin shortcomings. These are transactions that are public and are on the ledger and can be traced, and also the fact that transactions take up to an hour now, and plus they're really expensive. PIVX originated as Darknet, which was a coin that was released in December of 2016, but they rebranded as PIVX in January of 2017. So it's a relatively new project still. It's a proof-of-stake coin, and I've touched on a few of these in the past, but basically this means that you hold the coins in the wallet, and in the process of doing that, you're helping to stabilize the network, and so you get rewarded by getting a staking bonus. There's also the ability to run masternodes. So I looked on their website, and one of the first things that really stuck out to me that I liked was their manifesto. And that is, privacy is non-negotiable, it is a basic human right, and freedom is everything. So let's get into some of the details. PIVX stands for Private Instant Verified Transaction. So obviously with the name, you can take a pretty good guess as to what its major goal is. It's to be private, it's to be instant, and it's transactionary. PIVX made history by being the first proof-of-stake coin to fully implement a private and anonymous transactionary protocol. They did this by implementing Zero Coin, which is a more secure peer-to-peer transaction protocol. Zero-knowledge proof enables a user to prove to another user that the transaction is true. And this is done without providing any information aside from the fact that the transaction was sent or received. So the next rational question is, how is this anonymity achieved? You use the wallet to convert your PIV coins into ZPIV coins, and you can send those ZPIV coins to any internal or external PIVX wallet address. Essentially, the Zero Coin protocol pools combine all the ZPIV that has been converted or minted, and then those pools are utilized when the spend is initiated. Keep in mind, though, that that doesn't mean that the ZPIV coins that are minted are all stored in one place or centralized. Just like any other transaction, that changeover, that minting to the ZPIV is kept on the decentralized ledger and recorded there. So the selling point with PIVX is, unlike Bitcoin, it's not possible to trace any history of a given payment. PIVX also has the ability to send transparent transactions, which basically means just the same normal transactions that you could send with Bitcoin. But to be honest with you, I don't really know if there's a point in doing that, because I think the whole idea behind the coin is for the privacy aspect. So the next portion of the name is instant, and PIVX uses SwiftX transactions, which means that the transaction, when you send it, it's almost instantly broadcasted on the network. To send a Swift transaction, it costs you a tenth of a PIV coin and requires 5 transactions. Like most cryptocurrencies nowadays, PIVX is also protected from people double spending it. Another cool aspect about PIVX that's similar to the project Block that I went over not too long ago is that it's a self-funded project. This means that it has its own fixed budget allocated to improve the project, and it does that by taking 10% of Block rewards. It's also self-governed, meaning that everybody that holds PIVX can vote on what they want the project to do and what they do going forward. It's also got really low transaction fees. And I briefly went over this when I was talking about the Swift transactions. It's a tenth of a PIVX to send an expedited transaction, but it's significantly less than that just to send a regular one. The PIVX network has a block time of 60 seconds, and it has fixed rewards on each block. They use the seesaw algorithm, and that helps balance out the rewards for the people staking and the rewards for the people running a masternode. And these rewards are dynamic, which means they're changing based on the percentage of people who are running masternodes versus the percentage of people staking to try to keep the rewards equal. If you're really interested in that algorithm, you can find out much more in detail in their white paper. One thing that really stuck out to me was the total amount of PIVX coins planned for circulation. Here's a fun fact. There is no max. The current inflation rate is set at 2.6 million coins a year. So that means that the inflation is going to trend towards zero. In 100 years, there's going to be 300 million PIVX coins at the current rate. That being said, this is a community-governed coin, so if the community decided to change their mind on that, that is something that could be voted on and changed in the future. One thing I'd like to touch on briefly is PIVX versus Dash. because it's a fork of Dash, I think it's important just to clarify what the differences are. First things first is that PIVX is a proof of stake coin, which means that it can't be mined, whereas Dash is a proof of work coin, meaning it can be mined. PIVX transactions are approved in 60 seconds, whereas Dashes are approved in 150 seconds. And I previously mentioned that seesaw algorithm, and that's dealing with the balancing of the rewards for people staking versus people running masternodes. Dash doesn't have that at all. To be fully transparent, I don't own any PIVX. I did a couple months ago and I traded it when it went up. To be honest with you, I'm regretting that now, but I say that because my next statement, I don't want to seem biased. I genuinely really couldn't find a downside when I looked at this project and this coin. They've got fast and cheap transactions, it's self-governed, it's self-funded, they have a good community, and they have private transactions. As far as I'm concerned, it really sounds like a win-win. If you guys can think of any cons or any negative things that you know about PIVX or opinions that you might have, please leave them in the comments because I'd really like to know. Like I said, I genuinely couldn't find a significant downfall in the project. Also, if anybody has any recommendations for videos that they'd like me to do next, I do read the comments. I try to talk to everybody as much as I can at least, and I have made a few videos off of people's recommendations, so please feel free to share. So as usual, thanks for stopping by and thanks for all the positive feedback, and I'll talk to you guys soon.